to you. I am actually going to put mine in to give an example. Here we go. Cool. So for those of you who are new, which is currently no one, so I'm not going to do an introduction. I'm going to wait for more people to join. Fantastic. We have plenty of familiar faces. Thanks, Define. Looking forward to getting an update on Weave. We'll get going in about 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll dive straight in with a quick announcement, and then we'll get going. If you already have a name and topic, feel free just to send a request to come in on stage, and we'll get you up. Get going in 1 minute. Righty, I think we are good to go. Let's dive straight in, and we can be nice and quick. So first things first, the only announcement here, which I'll come to in a minute, is the Network Engineering SPE pre-proposal is live. That's awaiting feedback, and I'll give a quick update on that now, as this is also the primary roadmap suggestion, which is in motion and being promoted. Very, very quickly, I'll give a quick update. Can everyone see my screen? My dad, just give me a very quick update. Awesome. So yeah, as this is coming through the suggestion pipeline, just a very quick update. So the Network Engineering SP pre-proposal is live. A quick overview of what that is. It's a delegated pool looking to fund network engineering within the community. It's a 3-month pilot duration, requesting between 90 and 95K. And there are 2 funding tracks, one which are scoped up front RFPs, the other which is retroactive funding. And there will be a team of 3 reviewers, of which one will be Rick, who is technical director of the foundation, and 2 others from the orchestrator community. The pre-proposal is being validated. Big shout out to everyone who's given feedback. I think Killout, Pon, Define, Brad, thanks for the feedback. I am requesting that everyone tries to give feedback in the next 24 hours. We've had 8 or 9 likes, I think, now. So there's enough signal brewing, and it would be great to just get this wrapped up so that we can get this live on chain very quickly. There's some great feedback already, particularly around demand gen, which is a separate SPE that is sort of on the back burner, but will come up hopefully in the next couple of months. and also around reviewer commitment. There was also a feedback session that took place last week, which I'll go into a bit of detail in a minute. And that first RFP is starting to take shape already. Main input that you can give right now is to give a bit of feedback over the next 24 hours. And the second thing is to start thinking, well, hopefully we get this passed moving forward. And then the second thing is to think about so to nominate candidates from the orchestrated community who could be on that review team. So that's something that it is a budgeted role to have one person on RFPs, one person on our retros, but it should be a community, a core community contributors have a think who could be part of that. So quick timeline from here. Final input on-chain vote is live. The SP is then finalized, and the program is live hopefully by mid-May. I think that's pretty much it. I just wanted to go through nice and quickly, mostly because this is a sort of roadmap item here. The only other thing on the roadmap was to go into a bit of detail actually on the feedback session that Rick did last week. Rick, I can see you're in the audience. I also know that you're on baby duty. Do you want to maybe come up and give a 2-minute overview? Or do you want me to? I don't know if you can hear. Okay, great.
Hello, can you hear me? There's a festival next to my window, so.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, one moment. Yeah, I missed the beginning of this water cooler, but I saw that you already presented like the new SP for engineering. And related to that, we had an opportunity session which you can read like I think the summaries from last week around really to how to import like the 5-minute developer onboarding from the foundation side. We are dedicating towards increasing demand from like two angles here. So first, working with solution providers to get them on the network through bring your own container. That's why the SPE proposal that you saw from Rich is so important, so that we can work with the community to get all those new milestones and requirements done. The other part is really improving the developer onboarding experience. And I gave a quick proposal, so an opportunity on the sense from how can we do this from like a discovery portal perspective that really builds on all the amazing work that the engineers have done in the last months around the payment clearinghouse, the local gateways, the data improvements, the Explorer also in the documentation, and it all ties that together. So this was a first session with the community. I think Rich has a summary of that, and we are mainly looking on feedback there. We also have some next steps. I think Rich, you had a very small presentation slides on that, right? Which we could go through.
Do you want to go through? I'm just sharing a PDF now, which people can have a quick look at.
Yeah, I can give a quick summary of that part and also the next steps from the foundation around that. Also relating to Epic Tree of the effort for the Necrotas project, which we're currently scoping under RFPs under this SPE proposal, which is live. Where did you share it? Can we see the screen? Yes, so this was the discussion. So in the discussion as this opportunity, I created a small prototype to showcase what I meant. I already shared in the general chat. People can check it out there. So keep in mind that I'm not a designer. This was just a mock-up. There is mock-up data on purpose because I want to have a discussion with the community first. So let me first share that chat. So if you now go to the water cooler, there was a chat for the opportunity session. There's a link to a current version. But currently, Adam and Steph are working towards from the strategy from the website towards the best developer UX and also the best developer journeys to showcase what's available on the network and to get people experimenting, like what I said, building with the local SDKs, which have been built under the transformation SP, then later under the net products, which are currently already being used by the scope product there. So, like this says, the foundations are in place. We have a lot of components for a working prototype there. Of course, the runtime, and we have improvements to do on like the reliability of the network, but we could make something like this work. And already, John did an integration test in this portal with the payment logic that he created. So the full direction is not yet settled. So this week we are, if you go to the next slide, I think, where it's um, yeah, this is just a summary of like the discussions. You guys can read it in the notes that Rich shared. So if you go to the next slide. So in the next days from the foundation side, I'm working on looking at like the net milestones as well, relating it with like the tech specs that I wrote for this based on the community feedback that I get, and then really creating RFPs under the new developer SPE that we could do. I have to state, as Rich you already told there, this is a collaboration between the community, the foundation there, and it's also expected that, of course, the foundation or the community can also create and propose their own opportunity RFPs. And so, but this was our proposal right now. I will update you guys in the next 7 days. Adam is working, as I stated, on this this UX portal to get the developer journeys in place. And I think that's the update. So if people have questions, let me know. I will share the current prototype, but keep in mind that, like I said, I'm not a designer and also not a UX expert. One moment. I'm surprised you guys really cannot hear the festival next to my window.
We can. It sounds like a lot of fun, to be fair. You should drop off early.
No, I have a baby these days, huh? So
I know, I know, I know. Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Rick. And yeah, the session last week was pretty fruitful. Thank you, everyone who took part in that. And obviously, yeah, the we have the network engineering SPE, which is the pool of capital that ultimately can be distributed. And then the first RFP that is being scoped, or the first series of RFPs, are related to this developer portal, which Rick is working on. Anything else to add, Rick, on your side? Nope. I think you're on mute if you're talking. Okay, then let's move forward. The final thing, I'm just going to quickly share my screen again. So we have the suggestions pipeline, and as you can see here, this network engineering SP is in the final stage of community validation. What Rick was just discussing is this developer portal. Maybe John, I know that you've been giving a lot of feedback on the payment clearinghouse, but I know that's also an RFP, which is actually coming in the next couple of weeks. And then the final one is the Explorer RFP, which will be in motion, and obviously Elliot and the Raid Guild team will be taking part in that. We are looking to have a roadmap session this week, which will effectively open up discussions on the Explorer to a more facilitated discussion between the foundation, obviously Raid Guild and the Explorer work, but to have it as a sort of a way of getting input from the community on how we can make improvements to the Explorer in the future. So I'll be sharing something on that in the next couple of minutes. Awesome. Maybe one final thing. We've got this developer community activation program, which was submitted by Gideon. I don't know if Gideon is here or someone knows Gideon. Please do get them to reach out. Otherwise, we'll put it to discussion parked. Awesome. Fantastic. Thanks for the update, John. That's great. let's move forward then. Name and topic. Let's come to or my dad. Do you want to give a quick update on roadmap items? Any
Yeah,
update from you?
no update from me this week, but next week I have the monthly wrap-up update. I already reached out to everyone on their forum post. So if your update is already out, you haven't got a notification from me. But if there isn't any update and this PS is still open, you should have received a notification from me. Looking forward to get the updates and go for it next week.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, my dad. Then let's come to name and topic. I've already uh, mostly done the network engineering SPE one, so I'm not going to go through a full presentation again. Um, but my primary thing is let me just actually get the uh, pre-proposal up. And once again, a big thank you to everyone who's given feedback already on the pre-proposal. My final call is for everyone in the next 24 hours just to go through the network engineering SPE proposal and to give it some feedback or show some support. I've tried to answer questions earlier today. So a big thank you to Brad, Pon, Killout, and Define for giving feedback already and welcome feedback or pushback from everyone in the community. Um, before moving on, does anyone have any questions, any clarifying questions on the network engineering SPE proposal? Fantastic. Then let's move forward. If you do have any questions, just ideally actually don't drop them in the chat, drop them in the forum, and we'll follow up in the next 24 hours. Great. Let's come to Define then. Do you want to come up on stage, give an update on Weave?
Hey guys, quick update on Weave. We have finalized the month one deliverables. You can see them by clicking the URL which I have posted in the Discord chat. You can also see the Weave repository, which you can use to replicate the exact Weave runtime that we are running. And you will also be able to go on the forum URL and the GitHub issue URL, which we clarify exactly what changed from the previous deliverables in the proposal, what the month one deliverables will be. Just to give you the idea, the original deliverables, they had the Weave to be a agentic runtime, which would have been able to create capabilities semi-autonomously on LivePeer. This is still the North Star, but for the first month, instead of creating capabilities, we're using the existing capabilities of LivePeer to create applications. So the agentic runtime, instead of creating capabilities, new capabilities on LivePeer, it creates applications and it maintains these applications, it iterates in them. So it is an agentic runtime that operates a product as a company. If you have any question at all, feel free either to do it here or in the forum or in the issue. We're in constant communication with Rick. Today we signed the deliverables. They will be probably fully delivered in 2 weeks from now. So 1 week delay from the originally intended timeline. So yes, every question is welcome.
Any immediate questions for Define?
Just for regarding the deliverables, there are basically three deliverables. So the first deliverable is to deploy the runtime together with a fully functioning application that it's created and maintained from Weave. The second is to have the public KPIs to make them available for everyone to look at. And the third is to have the open source repository out in its finalized version. So all of these will be reviewed by Rick, and if the deliverables as defined in the GitHub and in the forum aren't delivered, the retroactive funding will not happen.
Maybe a question. So my understanding of Weave is that it will effectively understand all of the pipelines on the Lightning network. It will be able to optimize and it will be able to build applications. Is that correct? Let's start with
Yes,
that.
based on the existing pipelines.
Okay, based on the existing pipeline. So when it comes to the go-to-market for those applications, what is the plan to obviously you can generate an application? What is the plan to then take those applications to market?
Steered by us, it will execute the go-to-market strategy in the initial phase. In the incentivized phase, we're looking to do that for other people. So we're looking to incentivize them to deploy with and create their own applications. There are different ideas of on how this will be done. But for now, we are steering the the creative process of Weave.
Understood. Okay. Let's. I know that's it's an update and still moving forward. Would love to see more. Um, would love to see something visualized over and fully demoed over the next month. That would be awesome.
Over the next week, we will demo you the application that we create with Weave. Already we're on the engineering phase. What I can say to people is that it will utilize the LLM pipelines first. So definitely an opportunity for to leverage the OpenAI compatible pipelines that Mike has built.
Awesome. Then thanks a lot, Define. If you have any more questions for Define, chuck them in the chat or in or in the forum. Cool. Thanks a lot, mate. Steph, do you want to come up and give a quick marketing update?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey guys. Yeah, so I just wanted to give just a brief window into what we're doing over here on the marketing side. I know I've come on stage a couple times here and there, but there's a handful of changes happening slowly behind the scenes. And in addition to making those changes, I'm working on, okay, what is the sort of cadence or ritual in which I use, and as well as Joe, who's in the audience. We're the two-person, your two-person marketing team here. So we're trying to come up with the specific rituals and ways in which we make our work legible to you guys. So this is sort of my first effort in that. I don't have a presentation or anything prepared today, and I'm not, sort of committing to any specific format just yet, but am committing to just giving you guys an update regularly and letting you in on what we know also as the market continues to change. So yeah, basically maybe the highlight here is on the social media front. So 2 weeks ago, we parted ways with our agency. I know I think there's a general sentiment that what was going on socials just like wasn't really hitting. So there's a few things that we have to do before we can, before we see that big sort of blockbuster change on our channels. I'm running what is basically a state of live peer socials for Q1 to really understand beyond just the top line vanity metrics, like what's going on under the hood on our socials, and also doing some research on some key people. I'm not even going to use the word KOLs or anything like that. Just some key high signal people that could provide other insight into the various like developer audiences that we're looking for the developer dashboard specifically. So one thing I will share is in looking at the metrics. So basically, I and Joe and I, we took over socials last week, and even in just week over week, even if our impressions are down because we're down on volume, our engagement rate is up 166% and our shares are up 33%. And just an insight on how I view our KPIs and how well we're performing. Engagement rate and profile visits and reposts and bookmarks and shares, those are the signals that I prioritize, and it's what I will be prioritizing for our content. So that content just looks a bit different than what is optimized for virality on the feed. So a lot of the high signal, or we say a lot of the signals, let's say we pass around through Twitter, they're winning the viral game, and that's one strategy. And the strategy that we're going to go for particularly this quarter, is to really focus on that lower part of the funnel, because we want to actually convert people into action. So yeah, hopefully that gives a little insight into like kind of where we're headed and why it looks the way it does currently. I will say thank you everyone who interacted with this tweet. And yeah, anyone who interacted with this tweet, this was a fun one. And yeah, maybe just to say, like, this is I think the way that marketing really becomes a community effort is less about saying do this, or is partially like content ideation and signaling, but it's also like having fun with us on the timeline. Like, it's literally me behind the we're actually not automating this part of the distribution yet, because those automations just are not production ready. So it's me. Yeah, I appreciate that, John. So think about that when you're seeing the content come out, and always looking to improve the resonance of the content. So if something really hits in a certain way, or if something doesn't, like, I think most people here have me in a DM. Like, I'm very open to chatting about the strategy in that way. Okay, and then the second thing I'll say briefly is we have our big sort of banner moment coming out this week with our Q1 State of Live Peer from Masari. And I'm not going to go into too much of the details what the report says, because it's actually, the final draft is in Masari's hands, and I don't want to front run. But the high level here is that we see real-time AI workloads are significantly up for the quarter. So that's really exciting for us. And so we're going to continue to push that narrative out across our product marketing and across the go-to-markets for the developer dashboard and the work we're doing on the Explorer, and also specific delegator UX improvements that we'll be focused on for this quarter as well. So maybe I'll pause. I've just rambled on a bit, and then I can touch on the roadmap. Although, Rich, I wonder if that's something you want to team do kind of quickly together here, since it touches on some process stuff.
No, Philly, you do it, and I'll chime in if there's anything additional.
Awesome. Okay, Doug's up. Hey, Doug.
Hey, all, how's it going? Can you hear me? I know Discord's always questionable.
totally.
Yes, excellent. Cool. Yeah, excited for the Masari report coming out later this week. As you said, AIF's up, always a good story. Something I'd shared to Steph before that I thought was worth just bringing up for this community, so we can think about it going forward, is that with like the diverse job types across the network right now, the minutes a video processed estimate that we show on the Explorer and that gets sort of cascaded through the metrics is sort of becoming like harder and harder to estimate accurately. And I think going forward, it's questionable whether that should be like the best representation of usage of the network. I think we'll probably be better served just be looking at fees and the source of those fees across different gateways and job types, and maybe think if there's any other way of sort of metric that's a little more accessible and telling the story so people can grasp how much data and video is being processed. But I just wanted to mention that for this community so we could begin to think about what sort of the best human accessible quantification of usage of the network is going forward. Because I think that minutes processed is probably something that's going to be less and less reliable, and we probably should shift focus away from in the rest of the year.
Yeah, thanks for calling that out, Doug. So it is a metric that we'll highlight in this quarter's or Q1's Masari report, but to Doug's point, it's something that we're investigating on how we make these metrics more compelling and more relevant to the folks that we want to speak to. And George, thanks for hopping in there with an immediate follow-up.
What's graph per gateway?
I was meant more like a graph that has the job types, but also has the gateways that.
Oh, yeah, an actual graph. Got it.
Yeah,
I was thinking of it as a
yeah.
metric, but an actual graph showing the usage per gateway and the job types. Yeah, agreed. I think we'll always have to deal with the sort of fact that any gateway can send jobs circularly and everything as well. But no perfect solutions here, but that will be a decent way for people to grasp what's being done on the network.
We want to.
No, well, I just want to say very good call out, Doc. So that estimation is not very accurate anymore. We had a discussion that I shared in the chat. So I think for like the RFP that we want to do under the new SPE proposal that Rich just explained, we also have an RFP around the Explorer. One of the important things in there is really improving the data. That's default data that's showcased in this portal, combined with we are currently thinking on like a better way for people to do like more custom data. For example, I have a text pack of an AI where you can prompt things, you can create your graphs there, you can attach them if you want. So that we better give people visibility into what our network currently is doing and it's more up to date. So we will share an RFP on this also later.
Thanks, guys. I actually, Doug, almost just DM'd you to see if this is a leadership thread we could do on how to, what are the metrics that matter and how are they changing now and how we're going to lead on that front. That might be.
Yep, let's put it on the content track.
Nice. Let's do it. Okay, I think those are the full scope of what I've got on the marketing side, and maybe just a touch on this roadmap piece that I mentioned earlier. So, Rich and I met last week to talk about the sort of original intent behind the roadmap, to sort of decide, okay, is this something that is a community participation governance forward space or surface area, or is this really a moment for storytelling and visibility into what work is being done and how, and currently the roadmap is serving both of those purposes. So in an effort to clarify what we're working on, why we're working on it, and why it matters, and to just give a more clearer coherent version of what that is. The narrative team, aka me and Joe, are we taking over the roadmap and integrating it into the marketing website. So that's something that Rich and I just touched on last week. So we don't have a specific like milestone plan just yet, but it's a priority for us over these next 3 to 4 weeks to get that transitioned. And I feel really excited about that as part of the sort of marketing functions commitment to bringing legibility to what we do sort of behind the scenes before things hit the market. This roadmap feels like part of that commitment, right? That we can bring visibility into how we're bringing things to market, even if it's not not legible in other ways.
Yeah, thanks, Steph. I mean, this has been an ongoing topic that I've been bringing up over the last months, and we haven't quite cracked it. And I think the simple way of thinking about it is Steph and Joe will be in charge of really communicating out the roadmap of where LivePeer is heading, which is obviously so connected with narrative of how we're going to do it. But then, of course, all of the stuff on the suggestion side, the suggestions pipeline that we've been working through will stay there. So that's something to note, is that we will still have processes where the community can put forward new ideas, which can become RFPs or small projects, initiatives, and that will still be a managed process. So just wanted to emphasize that, because I think there's so much more that we could be doing and visualizing where the roadmap is going, and Steph and Joe are in the best position to do it. But yeah, just wanted to sort of re-emphasize that we will still have that suggestions pipeline, and that's going to be a key part moving forward. Steph, sorry, I wanted to just add that. Anything else that you wanted to put forward?
No, that's it. And I'm glad you touched on the community participation side of it, because that's sort of where our handoff lives. But yeah, that's all we got from the marketing desk.
Awesome. And yeah, I can say, because working with Steph and Joe every day, it's really exciting. There's some really good foundations being laid across marketing and narrative, core product services. So yeah, awesome to see it. If anyone has any questions for Steph on the marketing side, on the new roadmap, please do drop it in the chat, or I'm sure she'd appreciate a DM as well at some point. Awesome. Let's move forward. Who was up next? I think the final one is actually Elliot to give a quick update on the Explorer. Do you want to hop up? Awesome. Take it away, mate.
Is it working now?
Yeah.
I think it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have too big of an update, but the things that ended up getting pushed in the last week or so were mainly small things that you can see in the repo. The biggest thing, though, was something that Raid Guild reviewed, but was mainly worked on by Rick, and that was the delegator, or the reward cut and fee cut charts. And there's a handful of other PRs that are open now. So there should be a bunch of other stuff merged in. But then also wanted to say this is actually the end of Rig Guild's involvement in the RFP. We've reached the end of the 60 days of maintenance period. So pending, I think, like an official green light that this is the end of the 60 days from our dad and Rick. Just basically want to say from all of Rig Guild, it's been just like a huge pleasure working with you all, particularly Rick. And thanks to everyone who gave feedback on stuff in the Explorer, pointed out bugs. It was always helpful. And yeah, still going to be around, still going to, even for these PRs that are open, that are just waiting one last review, we'll make sure that smoothly gets wrapped up and pushed in just as like contributors. And yeah, still planning on sticking around, and we'll be keeping our eyes very attentively on future RFPs, particularly ones on the Explorer. So yeah, thanks everyone. Yeah, definitely. Is there a format for that anywhere, or just freeform kind of a retro? Okay, awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, I wanted to just quickly follow up because we did want to have this roadmap session this week with the community to think about how we can now have the next RFP and the next focus for the community. And yeah, Elliot, what's Ray Gilt's appetite in terms of getting, being a driving force on that? Obviously, you've spent a huge amount of time improving the Explorer. So yeah, would love to see what the appetite is to contribute and move forward with helping to scope the RFP as well as obviously potentially to do it.
Yeah, appetite is definitely there. Definitely ready to jump in on any future work with the Explorer. Yeah, you all have been great to work with. So I think the original full team that was working on it, I think is generally able to still participate. Maybe that gets moved around a little bit, but at least for myself, my participation from Raid Guild, the appetite is definitely there.
Awesome. Then I'm gonna propose now that we try and organize that session for Thursday. Elliot, I'm just gonna while you're here, do you have availability on Thursday? We can potentially look to get that roadmap session set up.
Yeah, if it is, it looks like, I mean, anytime after like 10 a.m. or what would it be? Eastern time might be easiest, I guess. After noon Eastern time, I
Right.
think generally
Perfect.
works for me.
That's awesome. Awesome. Then let's definitely move ahead with that, and we'll love to see some folks in the audience getting involved, as with other roadmap sessions. There's a call out here from Doug. You're on stage, and I know that this might be for Steph. Do you want to give a bit more light on the three product services? I think it's in a lot of people's minds.
I was just mentioning it because I know that this sort of engagement just came to an end. There'll be future RFPs, but I've noticed that there are now like three or more sort of web-based product surfaces that probably have similar development needs: the Explorer, the network as a product operator dashboard, and then this developer console interface that Rick shared the prototype of. So I don't mean for this session to be like the clarifying product session where we figure out how these things are all related to one another, integrated, developed, but I just know it requires like a similar development skill set to what Raid Guild just helped us push forward on pretty quickly. So wanted to just make everyone aware of that for future consideration.
Steph, do you want to speak to that? I know that you've given that some thought, even if it's not to solve it, but just to like.
Yeah. I didn't think we were going to solve it here. I think there's two pieces being raised. One is the the overarching sort of product marketing strategy here for how you bring coherence to what Doug is pointing out are these three currently disparate product surfaces. So that is something that I'm solving for and figuring out how we maybe pull one as a back end for another one, and then this one is the developer dashboard is the thing that is our demand side facing surface, and then the Explorer continues to be our supply side facing surface that serves orchestrators and delegators. But I'm a bit putting that's the vision, right? But what I think Doug is pointing to here actually is that that the components or the development needed for the ultimate product surfaces that we want to have presented, they have similar development needs. And I think what I'm hearing, Doug, is like that should be taken into consideration as we're scoping work for these products, right? Or potentially that's the insight there.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I'm not jumping ahead to what the next RFP for Raid Guild to pitch for, but I think it could be thought as more than just explorer maintenance, right? Because we have more product surfaces at this point that probably have similar type requirements and engineering capabilities required.
Yeah, and I think this is good topic for Thursday, and I know that I think Rick and Steph would be key to get your input there. Obviously, working alongside Elliot and I know Raid Guild have worked with a number of different ecosystems as well. So thinking best practices from adjacent ecosystems as well is a good way to go to try and disentangle some of what's being discussed. Okay, I've just created an event also for that session, so please do. We can finalize the time another time, but yeah, please do signal interest if you're interested in taking part. Fantastic. Well, I think this was initially named topic from you, Elliot, and yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure working with Raygo, I think, on behalf of the ecosystem, and super excited to see what can come next, and hopefully we can have a good session on Thursday to scope something out. Awesome. Then I think that's it for the week. Does anyone have any other topics, naming topics? Just scrolling back through, I think that was the last one. Right. Then let's maybe just wrap up with wins of the week, and a reminder: wins of the week is the moment to give to share a bit of love with someone from the ecosystem if they've done particularly good work or they've done something for you. Just giving them a quick shout out. So I will start off by giving a shout out to Raid Guild and the team for all the work over the last months. It's been a real pleasure. Anyone else want to give a quick shout out? I'd also give a shout out actually to Pong Kill Out again, and everyone else who's given feedback to Network Engineering SP. Really appreciate it. Anyone on stage want to give a quick shout out?
I want to give a quick shout out to Rick for taking the time to get into the documentation, the proposal, and really understand Weave and offer his time to finalize the deliverables and make sure that they serve the community better.
There's one person who always will give time no matter how much. It's always Rick. Yeah, massive shout out. We got a shout out to Josh for helping review the BYOC remote sign PR last week. That's from John. Shout out to the orcs who always help test my crazy ideas. We've got Pon, we've got Authority, we've got Fast Agents, Frank, and Navigare. So a big shout out from Mike there. Getting Blue Claw off the ground. We're super excited to get it live and on the network. A shout out to Authority Nil as well for getting FlipSuite back on and trying to explore new demand opportunities. So super exciting to see that. Anyone else on stage? Otherwise, we will call it there. Look, ending 8 minutes early for an efficient Watercooler. Shout out from Mali. I wouldn't be here if not for the tech, but shout out to Steph for communicating this stuff to the world. Yeah, you you need the communications part, and it's something which LivePeer has struggled with over the last 6 to 12 months, and already seeing massive improvements from already seeing massive improvements. So a big shout out to Steph and to Joe as well. A little dream team. LivePeer and LinkedIn and other platforms next. Yeah, massively. There's still business to be done. Awesome. Then I think let's call it there. Thanks everyone for joining. If you haven't joined already, there's the session on Thursday for the Explorer. Otherwise, we'll see you all next week, next Monday. Thanks everyone for joining.